But we can wait for them.
And so this is the realm that would become the Edomites. But prior to the Edomites living there, the Horites lived there. I don't know if I've heard a one Wester tell me what they think a Horite is, but I would love to hear if they from their own traditions from Harlem, what they would say. It'd be interesting to see. But notice you have this situation. Genesis 32:3, Jacob sent messengers before him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And so this is an example when Esau was kind of first settling into that area, you know what I mean? First going in there, because obviously he wasn't always there. And then verse 8 of chapter 36 says, Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters and all his household and all his livestock and all his cattle and all his acquired goods, which he had accumulated in the land of Canaan. That's where he was prior. And he went to a land away from his brother Jacob. Well, what was that land? That land, of course, is this Mount Seir, which became known as the land of Edom. And this is where the descendants of Esau would primarily settle. As I mentioned, the ancient capital is called Basra. And these are Esau's descendants. So that's why sometimes people will just say Esau. What they mean is a descendant of Esau. Now, historically, usually most people have understood that Esau's descendants are primarily mixed in within modern Arab populations. This is a common, it's a very loose association, meaning this is not a one-to-one correlation. Only the ignorant would try to make one-to-one correlations between a people group that was distinct over, multiple millennia ago, and then make some kind of one-to-one correlation as if things don't shift around in the meantime. But this is what some people do in their own ignorance, and hopefully this live stream will help them today. And so when you look at this, you should understand, yes, Edomites are Esau's descendants. They did exist as a distinct people group. The evidence does not indicate at all that they have survived, and that's not that abnormal, because where are the Hittites today? Where's the Jebusites? I don't mean what Arya told you if you're a one Wester. I mean to people who actually are studying these things in real life. People are taking the question serious. Where are they? Well, they're mixed in with other populations. They've been spread out, decimated, conquered, all that kind of stuff. They do not exist as a distinct people group. This is just a fact. So it's called Idumea to the Greeks and the Romans, and you can actually even see that all the way in the New Testament. In the book of Mark, chapter 3, here in verse 8, Jesus...
Before I continue, you heard him say that Edomites are distinct and the people were decimated in different people groups. But for whatever reason, Dr. Brown and all those people in that land that he claims are the children of Israel, they haven't become distinct and separated into a bunch of people groups. They all just kind of look like they look. But moving on.
Withdrew, I'm sorry, wrong verse. And we'll just read 7 and 8. Jesus withdrew to the sea with his disciples, and a great multitude from Galilee followed him, from Judea and from Jerusalem and from Idumea and beyond the Jordan in the vicinity of Tyre and Sidon. And a great number of people heard of all that he was doing and came to him. Now, first of all, I know I read that quick, but did you guys catch what that said actually? Jesus has a multitude of people who are following him, and it names the regions from which they're coming beyond the Jordan. So notice how it first names the Transjordan area. What is that Transjordan area? Idumea. So people were coming to hear Jesus from Jerusalem and from Idumea and beyond the Jordan in the vicinity of Tyre and Sidon.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you brethren. Shalom to your affiliates. Okay, and shalom even to you sincere sisters. And shalom to the elect. So there you have it. Vocab Malone is, I guess, is switching back. He's throwing it around. We knew he said that the Edomites were done away with, but then he's harping on it like they still exist, and they went in Mark 3 and 8, followed the Messiah or something like that. But then he rose back and say that they was extinct a few millennia ago, which is, I would say, a couple thousand years. Millie goes to 1,000, I believe. So I guess a couple thousand years they've been extinct. But then we have to kind of know the time frame. And this is what Christians do. They only harp on old history, right? I don't even think they harp really on history. They don't understand prophecy, so they just harp on things that happened 2,000 years ago, and they don't look, they don't have a present mindset or a future, so they don't know prophecy. Now, to speed it up, I'll quote some, like Ecclesiastes 1:9, when it says there's no remembrance of former things, no remembrance of things to come or to come after, right? But there's nothing new under the sun. There's no end of all people, all nations, he said, and this is what I want to get at. All nations, the Jebusites and everybody, they all had been scattered, which they all have different names, and some of them been scattered. The Edomites are scattered too, no doubt. The Israelites are scattered too, no doubt. All nations are scattered. But at the end of the day, what did the Lord say? He said, I will gather all nations and bring them into the valley of judgment, his judgment, right? He said, I will gather all nations and sit the sheep on the right hand and goats on the left. And you got to also remember the Bible, right, is about Jacob and Esau. That's the main characters of the Bible. There's no way Esau is going to get away with what he got away with. Now, through process of elimination, we know who Esau is through Habakkuk 2, through Obadiah. And of course, they're going to read the scholars and they're going to say, oh, that has nothing to do with going up to the stars. It's easy to see who Esau is today. Rothschilds, Redchild. It's easy to see who they are today. But he's not going to see it. Okay. You can't stop us from believing what we see. Anyway, we're going to go to that Mark 3:8 real quick and touch on that and get the understanding of that. Mark 3:8, it says, and from Jerusalem and from Idumea and from beyond Jordan, and they about Tyre and Sidon, a great multitude. Now, I think Elder Apostle Aramlov did a video on that a little while back. And it's just common sense. I mean, you've been in the truth for a while. You should be able to see that. That this is not talking about Edomites themselves. And lands was conquered and occupied by different nations and regions of people. And as we scattered and mingled and mixed, so to speak, and in and out of different areas and lands, of course we were calling ourselves different things. Jephune the Kenizzite. We were calling ourselves different things, and sometimes some names are named after them, and they'll call them after their name. But for the most part, we were in different lands as well. We're going to get that. Anyway, and from Jerusalem and from Idumea, let me go there. But Yahushua withdrew himself with the disciples to the sea, and a great multitude from Galilee followed him, and from Judea, and from Jerusalem, and from Idumea, and from beyond Jordan, and from about Tyre and Sidon, as a great multitude, right? So, you know, when you go in nations, just like our nation's names have changed, right? What were we calling ourselves 2,000 years ago? You think we was calling ourselves Negroes, right? Then again, there's no new thing under the sun. But I'm just saying, you think we were calling ourselves what we call ourselves? We had a total loss of identity. But for whatever reason, those people in the Holy Land, they didn't get distinct and messed up, and for whatever reason, they all kind of looked the same, and they all kind of held it together over thousands of years. Come on, man. When Deuteronomy 28:64 say you'll be scattered amongst all nations from one end of the earth even to the other. So this is madness. Okay? But for the most part, the children of Israel that were in a particular place for a long time got carted over here in the slave ships, man. And that group of people, that Jacob and Esau, they were all behind it, along with Elam, or let me say the Arab slave trade, man. Come on now. But anyway, so did the Edomites, right? This is just the land, but did the Edomites roll up and was cool with Jacob But even, let's say that's the case. What did Obadiah say? For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. So when them Christians come up and say that, at the end, it's a no-win situation, no matter what they did. Let's say they was cool with the Israelites, and they rolled with Yahushua, which they didn't. At the end of the day, that the violence that they put on Jacob, they got to get paid back. Because remember, the Lord pays you back through nations. Job 34:29. Whether it be done against a nation or a man only, right? So let's get more context on this. Let's go to some commentary. Let's see what some commentary has to say. Eliakot's commentary, right? It says, from Idumea, the only passage in the New Testament in which the country is named. It had acquired a considerably wider range from the Edom of the Old Testament and includes the whole country between Arabia and the Mediterranean. It was at this time under the government of Aretas, 2 Corinthians 11:32, the father of his wife from Herod Antipas, right, had divorced, and this had probably brought about a more frequent intercourse between the inhabitants, right, and those of Galilee and Perea. Now, I went to look up this word Perea. Let me go back. I went to look this word up because I didn't see this word. I don't even think it's in the Bible, right? But sometimes scholars, I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. It said it wasn't even in the Bible, but let's see what it say. Perea in the Bible. It says here, okay, in the Bible, Perea was a region in the land of Israel, east of the Jordan River, right? It says, Perea was located between a point about 1/3 down the lower Jordan River and a point about 1/3 down the eastern shore of the Dead Sea. The northern border was south of Pella in the Decapolis. The Decapolis, I believe, is the 10 cities, if I can remember, right? And southern border was guarded by the frontier fortress of Machaerus. Let me go on. Where was Perea in Judea? Alluded in the New Testament, the land beyond Jordan. And here it go, Mark 3:8, right? And Matthew 4:15, a red region located east of the Jordan River in what now present day Jordan. So we can clearly see why is this mentioned, because there was a relationship, right? There was a relationship because these were the Israelites. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, it's not in there. Let me go on down to a little more commentary real quick. Let's go to the Barnes. Jerusalem was in Judea. Okay, Idumea, the country formerly inhabited by the Edomites in the time of the Savior. It was embraced in the country belonging to the Jews, right? It was embraced in the country belonging to the Jews. It was south of Judea proper. The word Idumea is Greek, a Greek word made from the Hebrew Edom. It signifies the land of Edom, a name given to Esau, one of the sons of Isaac, which we know that. The word signifies red, yep. And the name was given to him because he sought Jacob's red pottage as the price of the birthright. He was red all over like a hairy garment, which he was red, meaning wasted away as he's wasted. He didn't have the pigment, right? That's unhealthy. I don't know why they call it fair skin. That is unfair skin. But anyway, the Edomites, okay, that's pretty much it. When you keep reading all this, it talks about the relationship, Idumean, Edom in the Syriac version reads to the country of South Judea. Sometimes they go off, like, I think in the same video, he said Job was an Edomite. When you read this I think it was talking about the Syriac text, how they went off on that. So you got to study to show yourself approved. Job was not no damn Edomite. They got Job, and I believe Jobab, or Job and another name. I think they got it confused. I did a video on that a while back. So we're going to go to Genesis 48 and 18. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. Right? Laid it upon his hand upon Ephraim. And his father refused and said, Know it, my son. I know it. He also shall become a people. Right? He also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. So we can see in several instances. Let me get another example. Real quick. So every time you see this word multitude, they always tend to think it's talking about all the different nations. That's what they tend to make you want to believe. Let's go to Genesis 32. And I'll try to make this quick. Genesis 32. And I'll read one more. 32 and 11. So bottom line is the Israelites was scattered amongst, remember the scripture says that, I will scatter you among the heathen. Everybody tend to think, remember the Lord said I would divide you into your inheritance and your nations. Everybody tend to think that everybody just stayed in one location and huddled together. I guess that's easy to believe when you got somebody who placed themselves in a land and they all look the same. It works for them, but it don't work for us being brought over here on slave ships, whatever reason. Genesis 32 and 11. I don't know if I got the right translation. It says, Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and his and the mother with the children. Let's go on to 12. It also says, And thou saidest, I will surely do you good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which we see this in Hosea 1 and 10, which cannot be measured or numbered, which cannot be numbered for a multitude. Right? So this proves that the Israelites will look like other nations, will be scattered. You're going to have Edomites that are scattered too. But at the end of the day, the Most High said he's going to gather all them nations together anyway. Because all the nations are here, they still exist. Whatever they calling themselves and whether they scattered at the end of the day, that's not our concern. The Most High said he's going to bring them together. And all Edomites are going to be brought together, and they all got to serve judgment. It's crazy that we had to serve a judgment, but those people he talk about, they don't have to serve a judgment. All they can do, they got an escape clause. All they got to do is believe in Christ. And then they'll all be good all of a sudden. 1 Peter 1 and 1. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, Yahushua, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Right? Let's look up this word scattered in this text. Watch what it says. All the strangers scattered, G1290. This is what it says. Scatter and dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. Israelites scattered abroad among the Gentiles. There you go. How much clearer do you want to get than that? So basically in Mark 3 and 8 they try to pull that when that's talking about the country itself, not the so-called people in it. He even said it was other people inhabiting the land. They got kicked out of the land, right? They were pushed in the land, kicked out, you know, saying we got kicked out of our land. You know, at the end of the day, the Most High removes the borders, remove people, raise people up, bring people down. But at the end of the day, it's mostly about the nations, right? That's the judgment going to come. The only land is going to be judged is America, Babylon. But the nations will be judged. Anyway, that's all I want to